You ever find yourself wondering how your quiet little world can get blown to hell by something as dumb as a snowmobile? Because trust me, I never pictured myself at war with my neighbors over a trail my grandpa cut through our woods decades before anyone even thought of building those cookie-cutter houses. But then Patricia Henderson knocked on my door, clipboard in hand, smile faker than store-bought whipped cream, and well, let's just say everything changed. I'd just come in from clearing that same old trail, snow still caked on my boots, when Patricia showed up that December morning. She's got this parka that probably cost more than my truck, and she's clutching her folder like she's holding the fate of the free world. Derek Lancaster, she says, all official, though we both know she's been itching for an excuse to talk at me for months. That's me, I answer, leaning against the frame like maybe if I played it cool enough she'd just leave. Of course, that's not how it goes. I need to discuss some concerns about activities on your property. She's got that HOA president voice, sweet on the surface, but you can hear the barbed wire underneath. My property isn't part of your HOA, I remind her. Technically true, as she's quick to point out, but my land backs up to a bunch of HOA homes, and apparently that means my life is now their business. Turns out she's here about numerous complaints, noise exhaust, and safety concerns, and she means the snowmobiles, the same ones that have been riding that trail for 40 years. Thing is, half the people using them are from her own association ducking a 20-mile drive into town by cutting through my woods. Patricia's face tightens up like she just tasted a lemon, but she keeps going. HOA voted to ban snowmobiles, wants me to prohibit them on my land too, put up signs and enforce it like I'm one of her minions. Honestly, I laugh right in her face. Lady, you can't tell me what to do on my own property. Her eyes go cold. We have other options. Noise ordinances, environmental complaints, safety violations. We can make things very difficult for you. Is that a threat? It's a reality. And with that, she's gone, heels crunching in the snow all the way to her spotless white Lexus. I'm left standing there thinking, what the hell just happened? First call I make is to Marcus, my oldest buddy and the only lawyer I'd trust with my life. He's blunt. Derek, the HOA can ban snowmobiles on their own land, but they can't touch yours. But you know these types, they'll bury you in complaints and paperwork. Might want to get ahead of it. That night, I pull out every deed survey and easement document I can find. The trail's on my land, public use since 1985, but I'm the one who grooms it, puts up markers, keeps it safe. 48 hours later, Patricia's back this time with her board. Howard, the VP, looking like he just stepped off a ski lift, and Brenda, the secretary, always glued to her phone. They want an answer. I give it to them, no. The trail stays open. That's when they try property values, noise ordinances, even claim they've got evidence of violations. I know they're bluffing, but Brenda's got her phone out ready to document noise levels. Next thing I know, I'm getting a visit from the county inspector. Bill Morrison's a good guy. Older knows the town isn't easily spooked by HOA drama. He walks the trail with me, checks sound levels, inspects everything. Finally, he shakes his head and says, Derek, this is the best maintained trail I've seen. No violations here. But watch out, when HOAs get an idea, they don't let go easy. Sure enough, I get cleared, but Patricia isn't done. 3 certified letters show up from a Milwaukee law firm. Accusations get wilder: illegal business, public nuisance, you name it. Marcus helps me shoot them all down. But it doesn't stop. Now there's rumors I'm charging people to use the trail, which is just plain nonsense. County comes sniffing around again, different department, new inspection. It's harassment, plain and simple, and I tell Marcus as much. Want to countersue, he asks. For what? Being annoying. I just want to be left alone. Patricia, though, wants me boxed in. Next, she gets the HOA to pass a rule: any member caught on a snowmobile, even using my trail, gets hit with a $500 fine. The community is fuming, especially folks like Tom and Jennifer, whose kids use the trail to get to school. The next HOA meeting's a circus. Patricia tries to keep control, but when I stand up, yeah, I know I'm not an HOA member, but it's my land. She tries to shut me down. I say my piece: trail's open to everyone. Always has been. Always will be. You want to fine your members? That's on you. But you don't control my land. Patricia turns red, but it's clear the crowd is on my side. After that, I start thinking maybe I need to close the trail. Not because I want to, but because being nice is just getting me targeted. But it had hurt a lot of people. Kids, commuters, emergency services. I put it off. Then out of nowhere, another complaint. This one accuses me of running an unlicensed commercial facility. County says I've got to shut down the trail during the investigation. That's my last straw. I call Marcus. How do I close it permanently? He's silent a second, then says, "You sure people will be pissed? Let them be. I'm done." So I wait out the bogus investigation. Then once cleared, I make signs, trail closed by order of property owner. I notify everyone, county, snowmobile club, HOA. My phone rings off the hook. Tom's first. "Derek, this hurts everyone?" "Yeah. And maybe everyone should be asking why Patricia keeps filing complaints instead of blaming me for finally having enough." That next morning, Patricia comes knocking, no clipboard, just a desperate look. She pleads, says people are suffering, parents can't get kids to school, workers are missing shifts. I tell her straight, "You spent a month trying to break me. You got what you wanted." She asks what it'd take to reopen. An apology. You resigning. HOA dropping the ban. She can't or won't, so that's that. What happens next? Well, life gets harder for everyone. Gas stations lose business. The diner's empty. Emergency services get rerouted. Sheriff Mike calls, says someone almost died because EMS lost precious minutes. He asked me to reconsider, and I want to, but reopening the trail just puts me right back in Patricia's crosshairs. I need leverage. So with Marcus's help, I start documenting everything. We go public Facebook post, copies of every complaint, every legal threat, every county clearance letter. The story blows up. Suddenly, people see the pattern, one woman hell-bent on control, using the system to harass. The local paper runs the story. Turns out Patricia's only been here 2 years, moved from Chicago, started running the HOA like it was her personal fiefdom. Homeowners get fed up. They start organizing a recall, and I get a call from Linda, a lawyer representing nearly half the HOA. If Patricia goes and the snowmobile ban's repealed, will you reopen? If there's a real agreement, easement, maintenance funds, legal protection, yes. Recall election is a circus. Patricia fights dirty, but she's outnumbered. She's removed the board, flips, Tom and Jennifer take over, and within a month the ban's gone. We meet all lawyers present and hash out a real deal. Permanent recreational easement, annual maintenance contributions, legal protection against future HOA nonsense. I sign, they sign, and that weekend I reopen the trail. Everyone's there, families, commuters, even some folks who never said 2 words to me before. People thank me, bring coffee, cookies. It feels like the town's healing. And Patricia, she puts her house up for sale and leaves. Eagle River's too rustic, I guess. The paper calls it community coming together. There's a quote, "Sometimes it takes a crisis to remind us what matters." And yeah, I feel that. Of course, Patricia isn't done. She files one last complaint, this time with the state attorney general, claiming the recall was illegal, that the easement was a bribe. State investigates. Stressful weeks. But we did everything by the book and they clear us. This time Patricia's tactics backfire. She gets charged with filing false reports, pleads guilty, pays fines, does community service. Eagle River breathes easy. Tom's a great HOA president focusing on real community needs. Jennifer starts a newsletter. People trust the HOA again. I keep to my land, maintaining the trail, watching kids ride to school, snowmobiles buzzing past. The lesson: sometimes you have to stand up to bullies, even if it means making the hard choice, even if you take heat for it. That's how you protect yourself, your rights, and in the end, your whole community. One night, Marcus and I are sharing beers on my porch. He jokes I was the most hated man in town for a while. Maybe I was. But you stick to your principles, or you let people like Patricia run your life. In the end, justice wins, maybe not perfectly, but enough. And you know, a year later, the trail's busier than ever. Emergency services use it again. Families ride to town. The HOA's actually grateful. Patricia folks mention her name as a warning, not a leader. 5 years out, the new board even puts up a sign, names the trail after my grandpa. Standing there at the ceremony, I realize I didn't just win a fight. I built something lasting. The real moral: sometimes protecting your own ground is the bravest thing you can do. You might make enemies, sure. You might hurt, you might doubt. But stand firm and you'll find out who really has your back, and maybe help your community grow up a little in the process. So now whenever I hear a snowmobile engine, I don't think noise. I think freedom. The freedom to live how you want on your own land without some busybody telling you otherwise. And if you've ever tangled with an HOA or a bully like Patricia, tell me, what would you have done? Would you have caved? Or stood your ground even when it cost you? I'd love to hear your story.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.